everybody. Welcome to the 13th edition of this conference. It's always great to start. So, Damien, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yes?
Super ready.
Okay.
Welcome, everybody.
So, one question to start. Why did we choose Stockholm?
For this conference?
Yes.
We chose Stockholm because it's chic and European and a civilized 2-hour flight from London.
Yes.
And that's why.
And it's not raining.
And that's
it's
why
not raining.
I'm pleased we're going to Austria next year.
Of course, Austria.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, Austria, right?
Yes, indeed, it's Austria.
And it's an open-minded city. And it's a city of creativity. So it's a perfect choice for this conference.
Stockholm. So, I mean, it's interesting because it's the first time in Scandinavia. And when we thought about creativity, Stockholm, we say, well, it has to be creativity. You remember? And I say, well, what should we say after creativity? And you say, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Just that word, creativity.
Was this my idea, creativity?
That's
was
not just your idea. That was.
I think it was my idea.
You know, So it was really interesting. And what I want to say about Stockholm, it was really because of 3 people to start with. You have wonderful museum, you have a wonderful, environment. But on top of that, it's really meeting with 3 people over the years. It's Peter, Paola, and Nina with Cecilia. And they came to me and they said, well, you have to come to Stockholm. We really want you to Stockholm. So I must say thank you to these 4 people, because it's really thanks to them that we are here. So we can applaud them, because it's really, they're amazing. And it was really a pleasure to work with them throughout this year. So thank you. So are you...
But there was a reason we chose creativity.
Yes.
And that was because we work in the creative industries. And the work we do every day is very creative.
Yes.
And so we thought it was time to have a much more general subject about the work we do, and the creative work that we all do, and the important work we all do. And that's why this conference theme is creativity.
Very good.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Damien. We come back to you later.
Yes.
With David Bowie. So now I want to invite the director of the 3 hosting venues that are welcoming us. So the Moderna Museet, the World Museum, and the National Museum. So if you can please come on stage and explain why you are so creative. You have 2 minutes each. So can we have a microphone? Yes. Thank you, Eva.
Well, I'm Ann-Sofi. I'm co-director here at Museet, and as we are just right now the host, as we're in this building, I hand over the microphone to Sanne.
To me, yeah. Thank you, Ann-Sofi. Well, we are creative every minute, every second in our museum organization, the World Culture Museums, for one particular reason, 3 particular reasons. One is that we are constantly breaking the rules of conventions. We open a museum 600 kilometers away from the capital in the 2nd largest city on the west coast in Gothenburg. That's where we put our newest and biggest and largest and most amazing museum building. And in the capital, in Stockholm, we couldn't find any exhibition space, so we went underground and into military caverns underneath one of our museums. So we are creative every minute, but in particularly, I would say that our staff is creative in a sense which is renewing our organization every second because they're working together in a new way. They're working together across the museums, between all sections. They're finding new ways of cooperation internally, but that also opens up the museums externally towards the world and the audiences, simply because they are working together in a very different way, with new colleagues, new questions, new approaches to our museums. And then, of course, we try to... Have I done 2 minutes? No.
Almost.
And then,
Close.
of course, we try to be very... we try to do blockbusters, but we also try to do smaller events, smaller exhibitions, which are just as important. And in fact, this is something. This will be my last point here, and that is: don't think about money. Money and budget is not what makes creativity. It is what happens between people. It is what happens between the museum organization and the external world. That's where the ideas come from, not from a budget situation.
Okay.
But I do want more money.
Thank you.
Corinne told us that this is the first time the conference is in Scandinavia, and what you see here is a Scandinavian team. Ann-Sofi, a Swede, Sanne, a Dane, and I'm a Finn. This is a sort of a Scandinavian piece of cake.
Good.
Let's see. I gave some thoughts about creativity, and what I think it's you could divide it into the communal creativity and the personal one. And then my colleagues Paula and Lena said that tell the audience, say something about the differences between Swedes and Finns, and so I try to do that, and try to survive. Let's see. There are a lot of prejudices here. Creativity could be like divided in three different parts, as I see it, in social, cultural, and economic. And I start with this because these are the things that I see as differences between the Swedes and the Finns. And in order to be creative, all these aspects is needed to be present, but not necessarily balanced. And I guess it's good that they are not balanced. Some friction is always good in creativity. But creativity is from what I think it's first what you put into it yourself. It's a personal act. I need my notes. It's a personal act, and it is based on your own experiences, your own emotions, and your personal history. And creativity it's a personal take on the ecosystem that's surrounding us. And the ecosystem that surrounds us includes all these social, cultural, and economic aspects. And there are aspects of human life. And to use these, you need direct and indirect communication. It's all about meeting people and doing something together. And that's not a secret, but that's where creativity starts, and that's where it happens. And this ecosystem, creativity is like reorganizing pieces of that ecosystem in a new way. And this requires, as Sanne told us also, flexible and fearless approach to this existing ecosystem. And if you need to and want to change something, then you just do it. And don't think about budgets and rules and laws and what's permitted and not permitted.
Okay.
Because then you can do nothing. And now, my last thing about Swedes and Finns. It's a shorty, I assure you. In Finland, from where I come, I underline this, the focus tends to be to concentrate on social aspects. Finns are very state, country orientated, and Finns value facts and logic. This I'm sure about. But then, from my very short experience in Sweden, creativity here in Sweden is focused on and based on cultural and economic aspects more than on the social aspects. And creativity comes out of the new combination of existing pieces, looking openly about options and new ideas. Swedes value a thorough process. When things are dealt with from multiple perspectives, new ideas and creative approaches are formed. And this is called in Sweden förankra, to anchor.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, no money, emotions. What's next?
Yes, well, Berndt and Sanne, we have more in common than we come from 3 Nordic countries. Actually, we have the experience of not having a building, just having things to do. And I know that the National Museum is on a long trip now, without a building, but just hosted in the academy right now. And Sanne, you have different spaces to cope with, and that is a fact for us too. So you're now in Stockholm, but we also have a space in Malmö, down in the south of Sweden, which is connected to Copenhagen and to the continent. And that's a new challenge for us, and I think that new challenges are absolutely necessary to keep you going and to have your creativity going as well. And the fact not to have a building, we had an experience of that a couple of years ago. This building was sick, we moved out, and what we know from that experience is that what we do is not the same as having a building to fill out with objects and art. What you do is what is important. A building helps, it helps a lot actually. It's good to have good rooms, but it's not the fundamental base for it to get it going. So creativity comes from that, and for our sake, as an art museum, I would say that creativity starts with the art and with the artist. Without the artist, no art, and that goes for living and dead artists. So we always have to relate to the artists in the heaven and on the earth, and that makes it very, very interesting. And we are just helping out in that way, and that is also a challenge for creativity, I would say, to help out and to show it in the best way, to meet visitors and to make it out in the world there. So I think we have many things in common. We share things, and some things are different, and that is also very good for us, for our communication. Okay.
Thank you very much. There is one story which is quite interesting about the signature of Moderna Museet by Rosenberg.
Yeah.
Can you tell us the behind the scene of this signature? Because I think it's really interesting.
Absolutely. As we're an art museum, we think that art is the most important, and the artist, of course. So when we moved out from this building 10 years ago, we had the opportunity, I would say, to rethink the collection, to rethink how we treat the visitors, how we educate and everything, and also the communication program. And we said, okay, the logo, it was made by a British design bureau, it was okay, it was fine, but we want to do it more close to the artist. So we asked Robert Rauschenberg, he lived at that time, could we just take you as a ready-made, your signature, your written Moderna Museet that you had made for a catalog 25 years ago, and use it as our logo. And he said, wonderful, just do it. And you can see the logo, all over the place here, but you can also see his works. If you take just a short break, you can, for example, see the famous monogram, the goat, with a wheel around his body. So take the opportunity to meet Robert Rauschenberg in different senses, but he's the one who has made us our logo.
Yes. So this is really interesting to see how you connected really your brand values with the logo and with everything else. Before you go, I want to ask the audience to look into their bags, into your bags. You have 2 postcards, one green and one red. Can you look for the postcards, please, now? So there is one question I want you to answer. If you agree, you put the green card. If you don't agree, you put the red card. So I want to ask you a question about management and how you think your management have the top management, the directors, how much do they have to let you free in order to be creative? So do your management leave you creative in your organization? If you think yes, you have to show. Can you see the green card or yes? Can you? So we have red cards. We still have red cards. So can you comment on that? Do you think you leave your staff free to be creative enough? Because we still have some red.
I do hope. Mostly I saw green cards.
You can't see you staff.
I'm also sorry to see red cards because that's not a good thing.
Yes.
But it's a brave thing to show the red card,
okay.
and then the director should really think.
Yes.
Is he getting the most of his staff or not?
Okay, that was a message for you. So I am happy you get it. So you will have these postcards during all the conference to answer yes and no. Sanne, do you want to comment?
I also noticed a lot of green cards. I immediately looked for my own people, and and I didn't see what card they were. I think they are they have much too much freedom.
Okay.
Well, I think a good thing about freedom is that you people, to be creative, you have to feel free, of course, but the most important thing is that we share a goal, and that's sort of what I think that the management should be. That's our little task, together with the staff, to define clear goals, and then it's freedom is not an issue. Everybody has their experience to work to everyone uses their experience and their competence to work towards the same goal, and that's the important thing.
Excellent.
So,
Ann-Sofi?
Oh, I think I saw some cards, but I didn't see any cards from my staff. And I think it was not red and not green. And maybe one reason for that is that we deal with art and artists are the ones who are creative. And we do have to respect their creativity. And I think to do that in the right way, you need discipline, and sometimes you cannot, with let's say a design, just do what you want. That's not creativity either. It depends on how you define it, of course.
Okay.
So, I mean, when you ask an artist or an author, they don't say, oh, I'm just free. You know, they need discipline. And I think we do need disciplines too. But you have to make it in the right way. And that's the thing to find out.
Excellent. Thank you very much to the three of you. So we will continue.